Now it's live. Okay.
Yay.
So it just takes a little bit longer now. They've done some updates to the compatibility between Streamlabs OBS and YouTube Studio, Susu Studio. It says we're live now, so I believe that's probably working.
Hello, everybody.
I'm not 100% actually. Yeah, it should be good. All right, let me just tweet this out. Give it some time to update or something. Come join us. SR Dude says, oh, hey, it's past midnight. You know what that means, right?
No.
Officially survived an entire half a decade since the creation of my channel and the release of RPG Maker MV.
Oh, my God.
Congratulations. I responded back. Welcome. Well, welcome to the club, The
5-year club?
Yeah, the 5-year club. The Dimmy Decade Club,
I'm afraid I got a couple years to go before I get to join the 5-year club.
Welcome to the Dimmy Decade Club. And he said, as to you as well. Thank you so much, SR Dude. All right, cool. That's done. Let's go to the next thing. Copy this link. I forget this sometimes. T's gotta remind me and whip.
I've got to remind somebody.
T's gotta tell me.
Oh, gosh.
Gosh, tell me more. The things that I have to do.
Doomed.
Okay. Official content.
I am not the person you want to ask to remind you.
Look,
of
we got
anything.
yesterday's, but then the day before, I managed to post the error we had, and I'm gonna edit this. We actually had a great stream. I forgot to post the link here. Saws. Yeah, there's an update for posterity. Yeah, there we go. But we got it today. Let me click the publish button so anybody who is forwarding the official content channel will be pushed they will get the push notifications
They'll
on
get
there.
pushed down the stairs.
No, they will not be pushed down the stairs. Do you guys like the artwork I did today?
It's beautiful.
I franken edited some stuff together, changed the resolution, and then I did a hue slider. It was so complicated. It took me like 7 minutes. But you know what?
It's gorgeous.
Thank you.
I love it.
I it was a weird red color, and I like it because it's so vibrant. It's like saturates your eyes, but after you stare at it for a while, it's like kind of painful. So I was like, what if I just make it softer? And I just did the hue slider at like -130, and it made the plants look less like tentacles and more like actual plants. And I'm like, whoa, it looks like crops and stuff. And then the eye in the sky looked more like a moon, kind of, with the weird thing enchantment on it or something. And I'm like, this is it. This is the thing. This is our new... And I don't know what I'm going to use it for. And so I was like, you know what? I'm going to make up a name and I'm going to put it in the game. I'm calling it the Astra Plane. So it's like in D&D, the Astral Plane, but it's, not a complete ripoff because I'm saying it's an Astra Plane, right? Not, I'm just getting rid of the L. And so this is the Astra Plane Fields, and I'm going to put it in the game today. Today is the AMA. Let's see who's in the chat. Let's get this going. Streamlabs, can I see this up? Boom, boom, boom. And in the YouTube, we got Skepsis D. How's it going, Skepsis D? Ellen of the Dark's here. Kiera's here. Early Birds. Zidane Deoni from Electro Ninjas Lab is here. Ambrose Vlogs. Hey, Drifty, thanks for the retweet. No problem. Hey, I'm excited to see you play The Legend of Driftwood. I want to see it. I want to see you rage after you get to like Act 2 and Act 3. And then you're like, why is it so hard? And I know, and I'm sorry. Look, maybe I'll do another balance pass at some point back in MV, but the thing is, I kind of expected people to do a little bit of the arena and a little bit of mining for ores in the cave. And if you go straight to fighting the boss, you can get your ass kicked.
Yeah.
And it doesn't... Leveling up alone is not going to save you. You have to gear up. You got to get that gear leveled up. Also, the passive... There's like 3 ways you can make it easy on yourself, but it's a little bit of a grind in each way. That's how I made the content in it at the end. It's just kind of hard to beat the end. But anyway, yeah, I'm excited to see you play the game. Let's start the stream. The recording. Yeah. How's it going, everybody? I'm Drifty from Driftwood Gaming, and I am joined with the lovely, beautiful, talented, intellectual T.
Hi, everybody.
She took a nappy right now.
I took a 15-minute nap.
Well, 30 minutes.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was a 30-minute. And he said, just a little short 10-minute. I'm like, okay.
Yeah.
And then I changed the baby.
It's called a power nap.
And I put her down, and she's napping now. And baby went down for a nap, and mommy got up. And now I have, stream partner again. Yay. All right.
I was so tired. I was sitting in my chair just like falling asleep sitting up.
I know. And I tapped her on the knee and I said, honey, go lay down. Go take a nap. And she's like, okay, little one. Yeah, all right.
Normally I'll be like, no, I'll just go get coffee. But today I was like,
need
okay.
Nappy. She walked around.
Get nap now.
Yeah. Mommy need nappy now.
I'll take nap right here.
fell asleep in the chair. I'm like, this is not restorative sleep at all. T was walking around the yard and picking grapes and for Lily, and so Lily was very eager to go to sleep. She was beat.
She was tired
yeah,
too.
She was
we
tired.
wore ourselves out running around the lawn. She's a little adventurer.
It's the time of year where if you have grapevines, they're beautifully delicious.
They're extremely
They're
sweet now.
so good at this point in the year.
They're very squishy, but it's frozen so many times that they're like sugary sweet now.
They've been properly stratified.
Yeah.
That's a word. The boss kind of crazy, but I'll grind for the Let's Play. Did you already play it? Is that why you want to give it a shot on stream? It's okay if you've already played it. I'd still like to see you play it. Okay, so let's go ahead and jump into the game. Where am I at? I was doing stuff yesterday. Doing good stuff. And I think I'll just keep expanding upon what I've been doing. Maybe we'll add some more characters, more playable characters or options. I keep picking the same ones because they look pretty awesome. Oh, new enemies. I wanted to add new enemies, so let's do that today. We'll start off by adding some new enemies and troops and stuff. Just a few minutes. Oh, you gave it a shot. Just a few. Okay. Yeah, there's a lot of optional things you don't have to do in the game, but towards the end, if you have skipped a lot of the optional, then it's gonna, it's gonna catch up to you, basically. There's lots of points where you can, yeah, let me know. I'm totally gonna watch you, dude. I'm gonna be there. It's like kryptonite, watching somebody play my game. As long as I can. I mean, I'll probably have to break away for Lily every now and then, but that's fine. I'm gonna do my best to watch it. See what I get. Some potions. Okay, let's see if we go down deeper into the cave. Oh, you get to walk around and stuff. And what else would you do? You would just explore. Oh yeah, on the HUD maker, we're going to put some more text on all the buttons and stuff. Do you think the death worm's too big? That's what she said. It's probably about right, huh? I should change the position of the player down a little bit. Let me see if I can bring the player down a little bit. Corey Davis with a $5 super chat. He says, Drift, it's time to duel. Let's duel. How are we going to duel? What kind of duel? What are you talking about?
I hope it's not a Wild Wild West kind of duel.
You want to like do a Yu-Gi-Oh duel? We can do. We can
a Yu-Gi-Oh.
A Yu-Gi-Oh. Yu-Gi-Oh.
Hey, it's Yogi Bear.
It's Yu-Gi-Oh Card Bear. We're gonna do the duel. The Crystal Cave. Bloop 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 bloop. Explore. The spooky ghost. Oh, I see an obvious problem. Need to put the what is it called? Battle backgrounds. I did on some of them, did I? Did I not? Did I not? Not? I need to change the battle back. That's the thing that we're gonna do. Did I put it on this one? Wow, I thought I did. Here we go. Battle background. Of course, we're not going to use this one. I could have just put it. Okay, that's fine. Let's go methodically. Will I be using the grass fields? Yes, at some point. Another $5 super chat from Corey Davis, and he says, I have no idea yet. But my main character versus your main character. Actually, what we need to do is this one. There we go. Some little echo delay. I had to use my tools, use my toys. Use the toys. What else can I do? All right, and then I could do this. Yeah, time to duel. And then I get. Yeah, time to duel. Not as good with the music going. I understand. I believe I understand that. As responsible adults do, Driftwood Gaming, with the pot lid on your heads and ram yourselves into oblivion. I don't know. I don't know about that, Vero. Maybe we'll tie our arms together with a rope, and then we'll have like a bass in our other hands, and we'll slap each other with a bass. No, that's actually dangerous. You can give people concussions. I saw this one old Western. It was a new Western film on Netflix. I don't know, like a month ago. I don't even remember the name of it. But they would tie their hands together, their left hand and together with like some rope, and then they would have like a little knife, and then they would knife fight with their hands tied together. I was like, that's so stupid. It's like, as the tradition we've always done. It's like that one poster. Just because you've always done it this way doesn't mean that it's not incredibly stupid. That really stuck out in that movie. The movie was okay, though. I can't even remember the name of it, and that's probably appropriate. So I have a lot of Dragon Bones that I put in. I went through the trouble and the work of putting a lot of them in there, so we can take a look at some of the new ones. Hey, Jaren, how you doing? Oh, it's Hikitsune. Just thought I'd drop in briefly and say, keep up the good work. Hey, appreciate it. Thank you so much for stopping by. Hopefully your projects are working and coming along nicely with little issues. A slime caster. I think all games need a slime in them, don't they? Let's take the slime caster.
Hey, Hikitsune Red.
Yeah.
I wasn't paying attention. I just saw that. He made a plugin. It's a little itty bitty plugin that I use all the time, and I'm a huge proponent of. And guess what? It works on MZ.
You're a huge proponent?
A big promoter.
Promoter.
I'm a promoter of this little plugin.
I was like,
you know what
wait,
it does? You know what it does?
What? What does it do?
It changes the region based on a switch. You can change a region of one number to another number based on a switch, and it's incredibly useful.
Oh, that's cool.
It's just a beautiful thing. Beautiful thing.
Yeah.
There should be a button in MZ that does that automatically, like already.
Yeah, that would be pretty cool.
I'm adding that to there should be a button list.
Yeah, you can add that to the suggestion box. Another $5 super chat from Corey Davis, Sir Corth Van Davis. Corey Davis with $5. He says, Drift, my dude, I'm stuck with making a town.
Oh, I hate making towns.
Dude.
That's the worst map ever to
You
make.
and me too. Like, here, you want to see my town? Here's my town. Look it. You see my town? This is my town because... This editor, man, I
make the worst towns ever. Like, I know you're supposed to like do elevations and like streams and ponds and like bridges and overpasses and stuff, and all my towns are just flat.
Yeah.
I've really got to get good at making towns.
I've decided to just not even try with the mapping, and I'm just going to do it all theater of the mind. You're going to have to pretend you're walking around on a beautiful map, and you're just going to have backdrops that are basically all battle backs that I've stretched out into a 16:9 aspect ratio.
Yeah.
And, that's what it is. And if you like it, you like it, and if you don't, hey, there's a lot of games out there for you to play.
In my opinion, even if you like, or at least in my experience, even if you like making maps, because I do, you still hate making towns.
Yeah.
Like, I don't know of anybody who likes making town maps. Does anybody here like making town maps? Tell me, you weirdo.
Sure, listen, I'm sure there are people out there who enjoy making town maps.
No, they don't exist.
No, they do. I'm almost positive, because right when you think that somebody doesn't have a fetish for something, you go on the internet, and believe me, there's a fetish for everything. Somebody gets off on making town maps.
Well, I need to find that person and get them to make my town maps for me.
Trinket, how's it going? MZ looks like it's got so many good features for clicking and mapping that make my project so much easier.
Wait.
What?
Life is Cancer likes making town maps. Now it's likes making town maps.
Look at Eleanor the Dark.
You guys, you need to.
Now it's.
Any of you are looking for something to do on your free time, I got some town maps for you.
Corey Davis again with a $5 super chat. Thank you, Corey. Appreciate it, man. You're coming in real strong here. After you all see my beta, much help will be needed.
It's going to be fun, Corey. We're looking forward to it.
Yeah, it's going to be an interesting ride for sure. In a world. Oh, no. I'm a world, cave, and inside map guy. Oh, yeah. You know what? Cave maps are fun. I was watching Touch Fuzzy stream on RPG Maker Web YouTube the other day, and he was talking about he was making a cave map, and I also wasn't completely like appalled by the cave map. Like, for something, I mean, square corners is kind of weird, but that's just, you're restricted unless you want to put it in FSM and whatnot. But like, I get it. Like, world maps are like okay. I'm alright with making world maps. Cave maps, the same. I think cave maps are okay. Interiors, it depends. Small interiors are fine, but when you start making like open towns and like zoomed in, not world map style, but like, yeah, basically town maps, it's just the worst. Let's take the slime caster guy. And I was going about this the wrong way, but I think what I'll do is just put it like this. The slime caster. And the slime caster will have less HP, but some MP, not a lot of attack, but like crazy defense. 20 defense. But only 10 magic defense. And it'll be kind of slow too. 5 might not be enough. Let's do 7. And 12, because the HP being so low, yeah, the HP being so low is going to be a problem. So it'll be the counteract, the counterbalance to the high defense and stuff. Let's give some element rates to the slime caster. Let's say that the slime is takes 50% damage from fire. They take 50% extra damage from ice. Yeah, extra damage, 50% extra damage. They'll take 50% extra damage from thunder. They'll take, they're just from the elements basically. But then they'll only take half damage from the other ones, or most of the other ones. Earth, wind. So they'll be very specialized units. Light, darkness, and astral will stay the same. And since I'm calling it the Astra plane, and I don't want to directly rip off D&D, what I'll do is also change the element and the types to, say, Astra. And it'll basically be like the same thing, but one letter different. So much for PG-11 chat.
What did we do this time?
Fetish for town maps.
I don't remember.
Oh, I was like, someone gets off
fetish
on
for
making town maps.
That's tame.
Yeah, that's pretty tame.
How many streams have you been to?
Trinket says, no way, I just draw parallaxes. Hey, that's what I've been doing in this, except I haven't been drawing them. I've just been taking pre-existing art and then changing it up so that it works in the resolution that I want and in the place I want. Because you can't just put battlebacks anywhere unless you Photoshop them or just move them to battlebacks folder. So I basically just moved them to battlebacks folder. Simples. I do need to make items for the dagger goblin, and then since I'm putting in the slime, I have to make items for the slime and set up the actual rates for these guys. Dagger goblin. Too much experience on the dagger goblin. A $2 super chat from Vino. How's it going, Vino? He says, happy Friday, everyone. A bit of a tired day. Absolutely. Yes, I'm so happy it's Friday. It's gonna be a good, you know what? It's been a fantastic day. I woke up to lots of good news, phone calls coming in, and they're positive stuff. Like 3 or 4 really good things have happened today. So I'm in a fantastic mood right now. I mean, it's a little warm in here. Did you feel like it's a little warm in here? But besides that, let me see if this fan doesn't make too much noise. Is it too loud? Nah, it's fine. It's fine. Yeah, that's much better. Oof, let me get a sip. Yes, fantastic day. I'm having a really good day so far. Besides the general being tired, it's actually lots of good stuff.
Yes, I agree. Plus
Ambrose,
I got to sneak a tiny nap in, which makes it even better.
Right. Ambrose Vlogs asks, I still say Vlog. Shut up. Just, you know what? Just let me have this, okay?
That was funny. Wow, you're bringing back great memories. That was good.
I said it like 7 times too. Vlogs. Have you tried any 3D plugins for maps? Kind of wanting an Octopath Traveler vibe. We looked at that, and speaking of that, Octopath Traveler is 50% off. But even being 50% off, it's still $30 plus tax. So I don't know if I'm gonna pick it up because I'm being cheap about it. But I know it's a great game. And you can possibly do stuff like that in MZ rather. Maybe in MV too. Probably easier in MZ. I don't know. It depends on the plugins. And you would probably need a filter thing because they have this weird thing in Octopath, B logs. When they have this thing where like it blurs the foreground but shut up, you hear? Like you have like this filter over, so the foreground and the background gets blurred slightly, but then the area that you're walking in, I guess that's the foreground. It's the very up close foreground because there's several layers to it. And what it does is I think it's made on a 3D plane, yet it's using 2D sprites. So it's got like this, is it orthographic camera, I believe, or it's a direction fixed camera, so that it you can only from one angle it looks perfect. But if you were to like move the camera, I think a lot of scenes wouldn't look that good. Can you freely move the camera around in Octopath? I haven't played it, so I don't really know. But just looking at screenshots, I'm like, you could do that with like these 5 things. As T was asking about that the other day, I'm like, yeah, it's actually possible for the most part. And I was talking about the filters you would need, how you would probably have to design it in 3D and then display 2D sprites on top of that and lock the camera. That way you get the best angle for every shot. And it would be restrictive for the dev, but it would present a unique experience, like a unique visual. Mm-hmm. Vero Claus says, since Heartless hasn't been here for a while, I'll try it. Baka Drifty.
Aww.
Take care, Jaren. Thank you.
So sad.
Vino says, name Steam MZ can run independently of Steam offline mode unnecessary. Wait, what, did I read that wrong? Steam MZ can run independently of Steam. Offline mode unnecessary. Oh, name unavailable. That was the confusing thing. One question, teacher, can you use MZ in offline mode and outside of Steam? And then Vino answers you. Yes, you don't really need offline mode. You can run a standalone version. Just download your standalone version if you bought it from RPG Maker Web. If you bought it on Steam, you don't have your standalone version, but you can. You can run it in offline mode. I think you have to log into Steam up to 30 days. Like, you can run it in offline mode for most games. It probably changed over the past, I don't know, year, but like a year ago or so when I looked at this, you can play all your games on offline mode pretty much, as long as they're not an online game like an MMO or something. But you have to log into Steam every month or something like that. It might have been changed from now. I'm not sure, or from then. Heartless was in the Discord this morning. She has her own place now and is feeling pretty good about it. That's awesome. I'm so happy for her. That's really good. Let's make some items. Let's go for the Dagger Goblin, since the Dagger Goblin has already been kind of put in the game and currently being used. Do I want gold to be dropped? I think the Dagger Goblin would carry gold, but the other stuff, I mean, the slime might have sucked up some gold in it, so we'll just say there's some gold there. Since the Dagger Goblin drops gold, we maybe don't need 3 items. Let's make 2 for the Dagger Goblin. Dagger Goblin's dagger, but it'll be an item, not an actual weapon, and we'll state that on it. We'll say like, this is actually consumable, not a consumable, a craftable item. I actually want to look at a plugin today, the Vigistella crafting system, because we do have some items that can be put in. Yeah, Heartless got her own spot now. Living it up in the city. Not an actual, not actually a weapon, or actually not a weapon. Actually not a real weapon, but can be used in crafting. Let's give it a price. Let's say it's worth, I don't know, 50, 100 gold. I'm going to have to look at all of these numbers at some point. That'll be regular item, scope, none, and never, because it's not, you're not going to eat it, you're not going to use it. It's just going to be in a crafting system. I thought she was like 12. How old is that girl? I don't really know for sure, and I don't really want to expose it, but she's not 12. I think she might be barely an adult.
Yeah.
She's barely an adult.
At least
somewhere around there.
You know, I'm just gonna have to say who knows, because the number
who really
changes.
knows?
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, it's hard to say for sure.
I've heard a few numbers.
I've heard some numbers.
Yeah.
Boom, this will be the common drop. Dagger Goblins Dagger. Which I believe that's already in there. Yeah, okay. Guaranteed. Then we'll do the next one. Another one. Another one. This will be a 1 in 5 drop. We might as well have 3. Why not? Why not? Boo-ba-doo-ba-doo. Eat the dagger! Never Skepsis D. Unless I join the circus again. No, I never joined the circus. Sorry to disappoint you.
Oh, I guess you have to refresh the chat again?
I got to refresh the touch. I did not today.
That?
Nah, not today. Turn it off and turn it back on again, and it should go.
We were talking about you reminding me of reminding you of things. I can speak words.
Well, you can't just wake up.
I have words of the things.
You can't
words.
just sleep for 30 minutes, wake up, and be like, okay, I guess we got to stream now, because then your brain says, no, you're still asleep. You're still asleep.
But I thought that's what you were talking about before, or else I would have reminded you to refresh the chat, because I was thinking about it.
Yeah, but you didn't.
I thought you were
tell
doing
me.
it.
Nah. I never.
Oops.
I never Palpatine. Do it.
Do it.
What else would the dagger? What else would a dagger goblin drop?
Corey, man, I was emancipated at 16 legally. You could do it. I moved out when I was 15.
Savage.
Yeah.
Do 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 do. Bum ba da bum bum. What would a goblin have? A cooking pan. Goblins cook, right? Nah, they just eat stuff raw. Goblins would cook. Let me just pick an icon and name it and just go with that. Let's go with this little blue rock, and we'll call it Shiny Stone. Like, because the goblins would have a shiny stone. And then I'm pretty sure I have blah, blah, blah. Word wrap can be used crafting, can be sold, yada, yada. Let's make the shiny stone be worth 200. Consumable, nope. Never occasion, none. No scope. No animation necessary. Not everyone lives in the USA, and other countries have independence adulthood earlier than 18. So yeah, some countries are 17 that I know of. Are there other countries? Are there countries that consider you a legal adult like at 16?
Yeah, here. If you go in front of a judge, your parents sign over rights to you, you get an emancipation certification, and that certificate counts as your being 18 when you have to sign for stuff.
But you still can't vote.
No, you can't vote.
You still can't buy cigarettes.
But you can, like
beer and stuff.
No, you can't do that. No.
You have to be 21 for that.
But you can get a job, you can get an apartment, you can sign up for services by yourself.
Yeah.
Things like that. Yeah.
Right.
Yep.
But I'm just saying you have to go through a process, a specialized process for that. But in some countries, you just turn 17 and that's your process. You're an adult now.
Right.
So as what I was saying, like, are there countries out there that just say when you turn 16, you're a legal adult and you can do stuff? That
Probably.
other people. Yeah.
I'm sure there are.
Yeah.
Absolutely. I think that, like in Africa, you could probably be a 12-year-old boy and considered an adult in some places.
He's a man.
Yep, he's a man.
Sure he is.
He's going to get married and have kids.
Some countries go as low as 14. Whoa.
Yeah.
Whoa, bro. I mean, back in the olden days, they used to just, like, people would just be having kids at 14. Like, that was normal. And it still happens, but, like, it's a lot less frequent now as far as that. I think contraceptions have a lot to play in that, really.
Sure. Yeah. I know that it was like it wasn't even, nobody would bat an eye back in the day if you were 16 and had a kid. Yeah. Now it's a scandal.
Right.
Scandalous.
Do. Third world countries, really. All modernized countries. are 16 plus.
Yeah, there's almost 200 countries on the planet, I believe. 197 or 194 or something like
That's
that.
a lot of countries.
Yeah.
Lots of different rules. I want to look at the crafting system. Let's award this item to Zigablon. I already did.
The thing is it's always changing how many countries there are. Especially in Africa. The landscape changes a lot. And then Russia's been like annexing places. They're trying to take over Georgia and Belarus.
Belarus?
Yeah.
Yeah.
And other places that I can't name right now.
China's trying to take over Taiwan
Oh, yeah.
constantly.
What about Hong Kong? Hong Kong is like scheduled to be taken in by China.
Yeah, they've been through doing that process for a while now. Hong Kong had some crazy like protests and like almost like revolutionary type stuff going on not too long ago. If you guys remember. And
195 countries officially. Yeah. That sounds right to me.
are they
That's not
still
just-
protesting in Hong Kong? Is that still going on?
I don't know. Let's find out. I'm curious.
It seems like they had a lot of coverage months ago, but it seems to like people have either become exhausted by the idea of it, or the support has been more and more suppressed. I think it may still be going on. It's just being better. It's being suppressed better by the powers that be. So we don't hear more.
Yeah, it appears that they're still going
6 months of protest. Wow.
since June 2019.
Yeah.
So more than that,
Well,
over a year of
yeah.
protests. Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
It's just people are becoming exhausted by it, and that's what happens. Unfortunately,
I mean,
it's,
would you, if you were a small country that was surrounded by China that had autonomy and like a more democratic, capitalistic type government, and you realized in the next 20 years your country was going to become part of China, would you be happy about it?
no.
Yeah, I don't
would-
think they're happy about that.
losing the independence.
Yeah.
What little they had left.
I can understand. Why
They're
they
going to
would
be.
want that
I
to
think they'll
happen.
be extraditing people because of to China, and it's just kind of like leading into more authoritarian totalitarianism that in communist China. I don't really claim to know too much about what I'm talking about.
Yeah,
so
we don't know for
this
sure.
is just some guy from a random perspective, and
One fact
I'm not
about-
trying to sway anything here.
One thing about China that I think is interesting, I was reading some news articles in different countries and some in China, and their goal is to stamp out poverty in their entire country.
That's a good goal.
Yeah.
I mean, it seems kind of.
They don't want a single homeless person in their entire country.
That's
Can you
great.
Imagine if they can do that.
You know what? They should have some talks with California because something's going wrong there. I left California 3 years ago, and I don't plan to move back to California.
It's on fire.
Besides the fires, it's also got just a ginormous homeless problem.
It does,
And
but
it's
you know what?
expanding more
it
and
makes
more.
sense to me because
The weather's so nice.
The weather is so nice. If I had to be homeless in either frozen New York or travel across the country and be homeless in sunny San Diego, you better believe I'm going to be homeless in sunny San
Oh yeah,
Diego.
LA is getting flooded, and and it's been for years now, and it's just increasingly so as people are becoming homeless. People are losing their houses, and then like, well, we're going to be on the street. We can't even survive, the winter here.
Mm-hmm.
So we have to move to where it's, it doesn't snow. Hey, you need to not lose this. It's sort of in the back here. Can't forget about this, honey boo. It's a little.
It's actually garbage now.
Oh really?
Yep.
You already did a thing online to do a thing?
Yeah.
Okay. I just.
It's the saga of that money order. I brought it up before.
Oh,
I'm
you've already
still
mentioned
trying to
that.
cash that $600 money order.
Yeah, money orders are difficult little beasts to deal with. If
It's not the first time. Back in the day, I mailed a $350 money order to my car company, and they claimed they never received it. And because I didn't physically have it in hand, I could never get it replaced. I
And you just lost $350.
Yep.
Damn, son.
Go to your bank and get a cashier's check. That's
do
what
the
I'd
cashier's
suggest.
check, because
Yeah.
with the cashier's check, when you make a cashier's check out and you don't use it, like you sign it over to somebody or some company, and then if they don't take it or they don't use it, you write. You're not going to use it, right? Not used for intended purpose.
Mm-hmm.
You go right back to your bank and they put it into your account, and then you get all your money back. With the money order, you have to pay $30 minimum. You could pay 60 or 80 or 90 if you want to get it faster, but they put this artificial delay on your money to try to get more out of it, and you have to pay $30 minimum for them to send you a new money order that is not made out to somebody.
They don't refund it. They just give you a new money order that you then have to go and get cashed still, but it's blank.
Yep.
It's pretty
and
wild.
It takes like 3 weeks too.
Yeah, it takes a long time.
So if you're really in a bad situation, that's how they get you to pay $80. You know, you need whatever the money was made out for.
Right.
Money is a difficult thing. Here's the thing. Do you guys have credit cards? Do you guys have debit cards? Most people, I think millennials now, don't really have very many credit cards. In fact, most people probably survive like T and I have for most of our life based on just like a debit account. Like a check. We have a checking. I have a lot of accounts, and so does T. But basically, the majority of the transactions go through a debit card / checking account. And I'm sure a lot of you also have something like that. $5 super chat from Corey Davis. Drift, I'll take that money order off your hand. Send it to me. I'll PayPal you the money. We already got it taken care of, most likely.
Thank you, though.
I appreciate it. He probably has a way to make it work. Yeah, I'm sure you find a way to make that work. We got it, though. I'm pretty sure we already paid the $30, so in like a week we should be getting another one, or 2 weeks, or however long it friggin' takes. We're okay. We're doing okay. So Life is Cancer says, I have 3 credit cards. So did you know that people tell you this? Use your credit cards, and it makes your credit score go higher. Well, yes and no. If you pay them off fast enough, it doesn't really have time to tick, and you don't get credit for the expenditures that you use. They want you to pay interest. You can't. It is smart to have a credit card and use it up to 10% of your maximum balance, and you don't want to use over 10% of what you are allowed to use. So if you have a beginner's $300 credit card limit or something, only use it for like $20-$30 things and then pay that off. $20 30 things and pay that off. If your credit limit increases and you get into the thousands, you can spend a few hundred on it and stay under the 10% of your max and pay that off, and keep doing it and use it like that. That will build your credit. I have a pretty good credit score now, and I don't have any credit cards, and I thought my credit would be less than what it is, but because I have many accounts, and the average age of the accounts is high enough that they see, and I've never overdrafted. I've never not paid a bill. I've been pretty lucky that I guess it's good planning too, that I've been able to do things just barely skirting the line through the whole course of my monetary life. And so I have a pretty good credit score. And anyway, what I'm trying to say is you don't necessarily need a credit card to have a good credit score. When you buy stuff and you go to get a loan, I've applied for loans before, and right now we're at the point where we're going to turn down loans. And I've always decided I don't want to buy a new car. I want to buy a very well-kept used vehicle. And I've done that 3 or 4 times now. Well, 3 times. 1 wasn't my car, and each time I've been happy with the deal. Oh, I know. One time I got burned. I bought a Mercedes for $1,100, and I thought it was good. There was something wrong with the electrical, and I had to end up selling that car for $100 junk. So I lost $1,000 on one of them. But besides that, which was a huge blunder for me at that time. Another $5 super chat from Corey Davis saying, I only have debit cards with almost 9 different accounts. Never even seen a credit card. Yep. See, that's what I'm saying. Most people can just, have debit checking accounts. How would you want to, here's another thing that a lot of people don't realize. If you go into a bank and you want to take out your money, they're going to have some limits on what you can take out. If you go into your own branch, you can pull out a lot higher amount than if you were to try to pull out money from a different branch using your card. So also, when you try to pull out money through an ATM, you have limits on that too. And those limits are based on several things: the age of your account, your credit score, how much money you have in there. So, I could go on and keep talking about money. I've gone through a lot of stress over the last year, thinking about what I'm going to do and how I'm going to do things with my money, and how can I ever retire, in my entire life. There was no plan. So I've been trying to put together things. And I think even though it was so much stress, I think it was very much worth it, because now I know how to do certain things like how to wire money, how to where to put my money, what saving accounts are basically worthless, and what percentage rates you need. And I haven't gone into the stock market at all. I don't have the money for that, but I'm still interested in the idea of investing in some stock in the future. So I'm going to continue to look into that in the future, but I don't have the money to do that. So I'm still just like dipping my toes in the water. I do not claim to teach, economy. Thank you, Kupo Tepo. But yeah, I can answer some general questions. With your debit account, most likely you can only charge $2,000 or $3,000, depending on your bank. It might be different, but you have a limit. Say you have, I don't know why anyone would this much on a debit, but say you had you could for several reasons. Never mind, I take that back. But say you had $5,000 in a debit, right? You had $5,000 in a debit account, and you want to make a purchase online for, say, $3,500. Well, your card will get declined, most likely, unless you call the bank ahead of time and tell them you plan to make this. And even then, they can say, no, we're not going to raise your credit thing. You have to do it a different way. So you can't actually use your debit your debit card to charge over a certain amount, like $2,000, $2,500, $3,000, $3,500, somewhere around there. They're going to cut you off, and they're not going to let you spend that money that way. And some points you're going to have to do a cashier's check, and that's a good route to go about, is a cashier's check. It's cheaper to do than wire transfers, but that's also dangerous because you can't just send that through the mail. It's not as easy. It's not as safe to send it through the mail and whatnot. So when you do it internationally, you really need to kind of just do wire, or you can do Venmo, or you can do Cash App, or you can do PayPal. There's several different options that you can go about. T, keep talking, okay? I have to pee really bad.
What are we talking about?
Talking about different things about money, also
money.
Cool stuff.
Oh my gosh, I don't know what to say about money. I feel like I'm on the spot. Hold on a minute. Hold up. I can talk. I can has words. Corey Davis with a $20 super chat says, I like the limits. Like going to my own bank, I can withdraw all my cash in that account the same day. So to me, it's cool having either funds in my bank or say the hell with it. Drift, I need help with stocks. Hit me up. Yeah, I'm kind of like the lunatic that would get an old tin coffee can, throw my money in it, and bury it in the backyard. To be honest, I actually did have a large amount of money at one point in my life, and instead of putting it in a bank account and getting interest on it because I was super suspicious and young and stupid, I put it in a lock box, a security box in the bank, and didn't tell anybody what it was.
$20 super chat from Corey Davis saying, I like the limits like going to my own bank. I can withdraw all my cash in that account the same day. So to me, it's cool having to either find my bank or say hell with it. And Drift, if need help with stocks, hit me up. Corey, for real though, at some point over the next year or two, I might just do that, depending on other situations that we can't foresee yet. But yeah, I am not well off. In fact, we're doing a yearly budget, so we're doing okay. But we are just getting by on the yearly budget. But I think it's working out, and we're taking steps in the right direction to procure a good future for us that's have some kind of levels of security.
Wow, Life is Cancer had some serious knowledge dropped on him today. He says, my entire life I called debit cards credit cards, and I didn't even know what credit cards really were until only now when Drifty said credit cards, blah, 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 debit cards. I Googled it and then realized.
See, that's the thing. Yeah. See, a credit card is much different from a debit card. A debit card only lets you spend the money that you have unless you have overdraft protection, in which case I personally feel most overdraft protection is kind of a scam, because they let you spend money you don't have, and they charge you for each inter transaction that you have using that. So I purposefully turned off overdraft protection on all my accounts, and I don't let my card charge charge more than I have in there. So if the card is in danger of overdrafting, it will be declined instead of allowed, and then paying like another $20, $30, $40 fee, whatever the bank wants to charge you, on top of possible interest over the month. It just stacks up. Now, a credit card is much different, but I'm going to read this. Another $20 super chat from Corey Davis. Damn, Corey, thank you so much. He says, but my offshore accounts, I don't use cards for them. I just remember the account and routing numbers and use them that way. So that's like you're using them as checking accounts. But I'm good with moving money around and add money to different debit cards to use money that way. Mm-hmm. Exactly. And that's the way that I've done it too, except I don't have offshore accounts.
Imagine.
Yeah, I have all of my accounts are in the USA and are, counted in my taxes.
All my accounts are down the road.
Yeah.
5 minutes.
Yeah. Well, I have accounts with a bank in California, and I have accounts with a bank in New York, and I have accounts with PayPal, obviously, and I have accounts with Venmo, and I have accounts with other money transfer services.
Life is cancer. I think that's a good way to go about it. He says he wants to try and find a way to make money to get what he needs instead of going into debt, and we've tried to do that both before we met and now that we're together. The last loan I had was, I think I was 21.
I have never taken out a loan.
15 years, I've been spending only the money I have, and he's never taken out a loan. I've
never taken out a loan. Luckily, I haven't had to do that. I've been close in situations where I thought I might have to, and then found a way out. God has guided me in the right direction. Mm-hmm. And but I want to go back and talk about, who was it? Life is Cancer. He's like, he just realized that there's a difference between debit accounts, debit cards, and credit cards. A credit card is much different. They have APR. They have an annual percent.
Credit cards are predatory, if you ask me.
Credit cards are, they're evil, but here's the thing, they can be good. If you use them properly and use them right, you shouldn't just brush you shouldn't just snub your nose to credit cards. It's not a bad thing to have a credit card, unless that has a huge, here, it can be though. It can be
a terrible thing.
Right, that's what I'm saying.
And as soon as you're 20, they want you to get a credit card. They're like, get this credit card, we'll give you $500.
No, 17 and a half, they start looking at you.
That's terrible.
And then they start sending you letters as soon as you turn 18.
That's awful.
Yeah. Well, some of them have no annual fees, and then some of them have low APR. Typically, most of them are really awful, and you shouldn't get them. There are some credit cards that are good, though, for specific reasons. Why do you need this credit card? What is it going to do for you? Do you travel a lot, and do you want to use those to get flyer miles? You can get some that give cash back. Ultimately, they should be used minimally, and only if in situations where you don't have the money and you're going to float it, but you know for sure that you will have the money. So that's what a credit card is. It is a promise of payment. When you use your credit card, you're saying, this bank is saying, hey, if you ever need, let's just say the beginner level, let's say $400 credit card. If you ever need $400, you can use this card, and we know that you're going to pay us back, and they don't even care. In fact, they hope you don't, because then they can keep charging you, and then a year or two later, when you finally get a job, you owe them like $6,000. $10 super chat from Corey Davis. Drift, when you guys get a minute, call me about that stock stuff tonight. I don't know. We don't have the means to do that tonight, okay?
Yeah.
I'm talking about next year. In 2021, we're going to be talking about that. I'm going to ask you 3 questions. Just keep them in mind when you think about life. These 3 questions will help a lot, and they are free for you, my G. Thank you, Corey. Now, I appreciate your advice and stuff. Barrel Claw says credit card will not mind if you take advantage. If they take advantage of you because we're not smart. No, they don't care. The government has had to put in several regulations to stop them from being so predatory, but they still have ways around it, and they're going to make a ton of money. A lot of my family members have huge debts. They also have huge expensive properties, but not huge. I mean, not the millions, but the maybe 100,000s. But they also accrue thousands in debt, and it really, you end up paying thousands in interest, which is interest is your way of paying back the bank for them loaning you the money, because the best way to make money is to have money, because your money can make money for you.
Yeah, you need capital.
So if you want to make a lot of money, you got to have some money to make that money. And if they give away their money to you, well, that money's not making them money unless they're charging you interest on that money.
Human being, what did you call me? Excuse me?
What up, fetal friends?
Fetal? I don't think I've ever been called fetal before. I'm not sure if I should feel insulted or grossed out.
Vino says, I highly recommend all young folks get a starter card at Capital One at 18
Ugh.
to both build credit and give you a safety net for emergencies.
I don't like that idea.
At 18, I would say
I disagree highly.
most 18-year-olds should not have a credit card. I would say if you're in your mid-20s and you've been able to keep your checkbook and your debit accounts like nice and looking good and in the green for a few years, then then maybe get a credit card. But I see what Vino's saying. If you were a very good with money type of person, a credit card at 18 can help you accrue credit a lot faster because you're not going to get a lot of loans at 18. They'll be happy to give you loans, and if you look real hard, you'll find what you're looking for, but it may not be the deal that's good for you.
Yeah, I'm going to have to hard disagree with Vino on that statement. 18? No.
Yeah, at 18 is kind of rough, but what he's saying is if you use it right, it can be a bonus if you use it right. But most people don't understand how to use it right. Like I said, if you want to use less than 10% of your limit and pay it off. Mm-hmm. So how would you use it? Say you're 18 and you have a $400 credit card. How would you properly use it?
I'd buy candy.
You would, yeah. You should. You should buy something like, maybe not candy, but
like 17 pounds of it.
You can use it for purchases, but use like $30 of it, $35 of it, and then pay it off. And then do that every month. Use 10% of your limit and then pay it off. Don't let it go past the point, because if you let it go past the grace period, which is 4 business weeks, it's different for each bank, 30 business days, 25 business days. You got to look in the fine print when that period ticks over where they accrue interest on it. Because here's what happens. If you have a 20% interest card, then if you charge $100 on your card and you don't pay that in that time, well, now you owe $119 or $120 or $121 or $127 at that after that period. So your percentage rate is going to just charge interest on what you already owe. And say another month goes by, well, now you're getting charged 20% of whatever is left on that account. Corey Davis, $5 super chat, says, Drift, just call me tonight about those 3 questions. Trust me, these will help. They're only questions, my G. All right, we'll see if I could probably put time in.
I got to say something to Human, your greeting.
Thank you, Corey.
It made me feel wet, blind, slimy, and translucent. Is that what you're going for?
Oh, somebody clip that. Human, how dare you make T feel wet?
I felt mentally violated.
This is the PG-13. This is a family-friendly chat here.
I'm talking about a baby.
Uh-huh.
That's in the womb.
No, it doesn't sound that way, okay? The Drifty Financial Report is now live. Anyway, yeah, so I don't know what I was saying really, but the point is, if you don't pay it off after that period hits, you pay extra money. You're paying interest, which is just imaginary money you have to come up with because you didn't pay the money back in time. So you want to pay as little interest in your life as you possibly can. Even if you had like a 10-year loan, you want to pay it off quicker than 10 years. So say you took out a $10,000 loan and you plan to pay it off in 10 years. That was the plan. You can still pay it off in 5 if you have the money. So if your payment is, say, at $200 a month or something, you would want to pay $400 on some months that you can, because the first $200 is only going to pay mostly interest until the end of the loan, where most of that goes to principal.
Skepsies, I'm ashamed of you.
But here's what happens. If you in 1 month paid, like, say, double payment, and so you owe only $200 a month on your loan, but if you pay $400, then the second $200 will go directly to the principal and drop down the overall money that you owe, therefore reducing the amount of interest that you're having to accrue over the period.
And the period of the loan.
Right. So the thing about it is, you need to pay off your loans faster than you think that you guys have. If you have like a 10-year fixed rate or whatever, you can pay it off in less than 10 years, and that's what and you should.
And you can pay the bank less interest.
The faster you'll end up
pay it off, the less. Although they get you, because they're like, the first payment that you do
is mostly
it's like
interest.
a $250 payment. Like 240 of that goes towards
directly
interest, and 10 goes towards your principal.
Yeah, like at the beginning, they're getting their interest right off the bat.
They get it fast.
So if you double payment right at the beginning, and you keep double paymenting, or even at sometime in the beginning of your thing, you're going to end up paying a whole lot less money to them.
Oh, DVD, you got to share that. You should share that on the Discord.
I clipped Drifty's random from the stream the other day. and made it my notification tone. Best decision ever made. What did I? When did I do that?
Yeah, you gotta share that on Discord.
I never do that. I don't know what you're talking about.
Random sounds from Drifty? Never.
The faster you pay, the less you pay. Yes, that's exactly true. And that's what I was getting at with interest. And credit cards are the same.
Sometimes you have to, with some companies, some of the companies, if you pay over, it'll automatically go to your principal. But some companies will not, and they will apply it as a future payment. And that means you're paying just more interest. So if you do decide to pay toward principal, it's extremely important to make sure to specify that it's going toward the principal, that you want it to go toward the principal.
Right.
Because
so
it's not always, it doesn't always go without saying.
They'll just take a month off of the entire 10-year
And that's not
thing.
good. You don't want to do that.
Well, I mean, that is fine
No,
if you
it's
want
bad.
it's well, look, come on, give me a break here. That's fine if you wanted to just pay the loan off faster, but it's not super helpful for you if you needed that money.
No, you pay the loan off faster if you pay the principal. So really, you're paying it off slower, and you're just giving them more interest. It's just bad.
Right. Well, that's what I'm trying to say is if you double payment, you want the second payment to go directly to the principal. Mm-hmm. He means like the sound Lily does. Oh, okay. Yeah, that's great. Sometimes Drifty just goes. I do. Eleanor's like, that's whack. Yeah, I mean, you gotta be careful when you start messing around with loans. Read the fine print and pay a couple $100 to a lawyer.
Did we talk about how with
to.
credit cards, by the way, if you pay your payment one single day late, they have the right to raise your interest permanently. So they can get you hooked on a low interest rate of 9%. But if your payment is
late.
due on the 2nd, and one of those months you pay on the 3rd, your interest rate is now permanently 24%.
Yeah, whatever they want it to be.
Yeah.
Another $5 super chat from Vino. He says, please simulate this conversation in MZ via Eventin. I want banks... Eventin. I want banks and quests to take out credit cards and microtransaction to get out of debt.
Ooh, yes, like an educational banking game.
Okay, I was actually talking to T about educational projects and some way to set up curriculums. So yeah, that would be not too hard to demonstrate. Let's do that. Let's make...
You gotta make a bank. Banky Bankerson. We'll call it Drifty Bank.
Let's make Drift Bank.
Drift Bank.
It's an evil corporation that charges 30% interest upon payments that you've missed. Another $5 super chat from Corey Davis saying, I'm a Lyft bank. Holla at me for your needs and we can work something out. I don't know if I want to owe money to people.
No, we're trying to not owe money.
Yeah, we're trying to not
owe money.
We're trying to not borrow here. But I'm just saying, if you're going to get a house or something, or if you're going to get a vehicle, I would recommend you look at used vehicles, really, because you're going to end up paying so much less. You buy a new vehicle and you drive it off the lot and it's worth thousands of dollars less just because you drove it off the lot.
You know that the game story has to be that some crazy 18-year-old left home and got a credit card, and they get into crippling massive debt, and they have like these goons at the door threatening to break their legs and all, like the whole 9 yards, because they're in so much debt. They're like borrowing from the mafia, and the game is you're trying to like not die. Game over is when you get murdered by the mafia.
You could do that. I'm going to make a very simple just a way to demonstrate how you can get in crippling debt and how it works. Another $5 super chat from Corey Davis saying, Lyft is supposed to be legit.
Oh, legit. So. I was just like, well, I guess it's one of those, like things the kids say that I don't know about yet, Lyft.
Lyft is a bank then, right? It's a loan? It's a bank?
No, legit. It's a typo. He meant legit. I'm a legit bank.
Oh, okay. All right. Yeah. I was like, is Lyft a bank? No. He's like, I'm actually a bank. I print money. No, banks don't really print money. What they fucking do. I'm sorry. They do, because let me show you. Let me break some more knowledge on you. Guess what? If you go into a bank and you deposit $1,000 into a savings account, they can use that $1,000 that you put in and write a $10,000 loan that can have an interest rate that accrues interest. So with your money, they make 10 times that money. Do you understand how that works? So they kind of do print electronic money. They don't really print it. They just they make money.
They say this money's worth this much, and so we're going to say we have this much now.
They're saying we have 10% of it, so we can create a $10,000 loan for this person. And then that person will put down whatever they want to put down on it, and then they pay interest, and that's how they pay it off. And the payments they receive on that loan will go into paying off the original 1,000 of your dollars that they used to make a loan. The game title should be Shoujo Chibi, sold to host club for credit card debt. We'll call this bank Drift Bank. Drift Bank. And what it'll do is I'm going to have it be turned on with a switch. So we'll run as a parallel. And the switch that we're going to use is we're going to use the Drift Bank switch. Drift Bank switch. And when the game starts new, we'll turn on a switch. That's Drift Bank switch. Easy. Okay, so that's all handled. This parallel will be running. But what's going to happen, let's just run a counter. Let's run a timer. We're going to create a timer. So we'll create a variable, and we're going to call it Drift Bank Timer. And we will just add 1 to it. We're just going to add 1 to it. And so every frame of the game, it's going to add 1 to it. So let's run a conditional now, and we'll say if this gets to, let's just have it count up to a minute. Yeah, let's do 1 minute. And we can have the game running and stuff. So if this is, what is 60 times 60? 3,600. So if this is greater than or equal to 3,600, we're going to do some stuff. First of all, we are going to control another variable. And we're going to call this Drift Bank minute. And then we'll do, we won't need more than an hour, but we'll just do Drift Bank minute. So we're going to add 1 to Drift Bank minute. We're also going to set the timer back to 0. Control variables. Actually, I'm going to do that one first. Drift Bank timer will be set to 0. So it's going to count a frame. It's going to add 1 to a variable every frame. So in a minute's time of the game running, it will add 1 to this timer. And then when this timer goes off, you know, for the timer, we could use a variable, but you could use it a switch because the way I'm going to use a switch, but it makes more sense to use it a variable because in a longer, bigger system, you use it as a variable. So I'm just going to use a variable. I don't really need to explain it, but I just did anyway. So whatever. It's just going to go to 0 and 1. And then we'll run another conditional. Underneath this, it doesn't even matter. This is its own thing. When this timer goes blah, blah, blah. And then we'll run a conditional that checks to see if this switch or time variable is equal to 1. So if this is 1, then what we can do is accrue. We'll put a comment in here. We're going to accrue interest. This is how the bank will make money, by using money that you owe them over time. So we're going to accrue interest. And we're going to use another variable now. We'll set this variable. We're going to have to do a multiplier. So we're going to take this variable and multiply it by, you know what? Using decimals in this is not great. Let's see how it handles it. No, it doesn't like decimals. Let's just say it's a 100% interest rate, okay? This is just for simplicity. It's going to double what you owe every minute. And if you don't pay it off in a certain time, this is an exaggeration. Most banks will not double what you owe. They will charge you 20% extra of what you owe, and et cetera, et cetera. But because JavaScript and this engine doesn't like decimals, I could still write it in as...
Just make it, instead of 1, make it 100. Like the base number.
What do you mean?
Wait.
You don't understand what I'm doing.
Yeah, no,
so
I didn't see what
you're just throwing blah blah at me.
Yeah.
Okay.
But like make every dollar $100. That's what I'm saying.
Yeah, because I don't want to put variables or decimals in here and just mess up the numbers. So we're just going to say
the way that you do it in JavaScript is you take the first number, you multiply it by 100, and then
you divide it.
You multiply the decimal that you would use by 100, and then when you're all done and the calculations are done, you divide it
by 100. Sure. So let's do that. We'll take this and multiply it by 100. not random location. We'll take the third variable, which we're going to create. And the third variable is going to be basically the player account. What the player owes.
Vino, you technically can use decimals with JavaScript. It's just not a good idea because I can't remember. I can never explain exactly why, but it's not a good idea to use decimals with JavaScript because it doesn't handle it very well.
So we're going to take what the player owes, multiply it by 100. Actually, we're going to multiply it by 120, and that will give us a 20% interest rate. Let's just say 25. That's kind of a high. And if you're talking about you're getting a credit card at a young age, you're going to have like a 22, 24, 28% probably. Hopefully there's no annual fees. And so this is going to multiply it by that much, but then we're going to divide it, control this variable, and divide it by 100. This is probably not 100% accurate. It's just going to, this is the best way that I'm going to do it for now. We're going to accrue interest. We're going to take what you owe, multiply it by 125, and then divide it by 100. We're trying to avoid variables we're trying to avoid decimals here. And then I guess we can do a show text at this point, right? So when this happens, we'll do a show text just to pop up something that says, you now owe the Drift Bank, and we'll use a variable, whatever one it is, that much gold. Boom. What number is it? Variable, gosh darn it, not this one, player owes, which would be 18. So you owe us, oh my God, come on, 18, there we go. This better be 100% accurate. I'm having a CPA come audit this later. Shut up. Thank you. T is really great at math. I do not know it.
What? Who said that? That's
Others here might know the facts. Kupo Tepo.
No.
Trailblazer has some banking
I'm sorry,
in it.
Kupo Tepo. Have we met? I can't even count to 10.
If I was writing something out, I would be more accurate. But this is going to work for on the fly during a live stream. So I want to get this in the game. I want to get it moving already. So in fact, I'm going to make it every 30 seconds. So I'm going to cut this in half. Every 30 seconds it's going to say that's the interest every 30 seconds. So a second is going to be like a day, and we'll say it's like 30 business days. And it'll say you now owe this much, you now owe this much. But we will need some way to, let's make an event on a map that will let the player take out a loan. And then we'll add to a variable. Okay, so this should run, and it should do exactly what it's supposed to do. Of course, if you owe nothing, then your interest is 0, because it's going to multiply this and then divide that. Ooh, can you divide 0? Or you can't divide by 0. You can divide 0 by 100, and it's still 0, so that's fine. Everything looks fine. This should be good. But now we'll make a map. You know what we'll do? We'll put it on our $5 map that we got from... who made our $5? I made the $5 map, but it was based on Nat's pricings. So this is I'm going to call this $5 map from Nat. But Nat didn't make it. I'm just going to put in Nat right here. Thank you, Nat.
It's Nat inspired.
Nat inspired.
Yes.
I heard she got some business.
Yeah, she got some business from yesterday.
She was mentioning that on the Discord yesterday.
Mm-hmm.
Speaking of the Discord,
get some business from our YouTube, and then you don't come the next day. I see how it is.
Speaking of the Discord, we are an official partner of Discord, and you can come join us. Links in the description below. And we do giveaways, and we do all kinds of fun stuff. It's a great place to come. We have thousands of members. You can promote your stuff here. Go to the self promo channel and say, "Hey, I make stuff," and then post a link to your stuff right here. And then if you want to maybe get some work, we have a paying work channel. Anyway, just a plug for the Discord. I have to do that every now and then because it's in my blood. I have to do it. We're gonna make our starting party position right here.
Join us.
We're gonna be this player, the pig player, and we're gonna make a new event. This is gonna be the Drift Banker. So the Drift Banker is going to be this dog. The dog is the Drift Banker. Wait, where's the dog? There's the dog. Yeah, the dog. The dog is our Drift Banker. And Bnacker. And he's gonna be like, woof woof, you want a loan? And we're gonna be like, yeah, we need to borrow that money. Is there no dog? There's the dog face. He's going to be Drift Banker Dog. Teller. Care to borrow some money? And then you can be like, yes or no. And then, yeah. And then if you say yes, then you'll input a number. So how much do you want to borrow?
DVD, you can put it in, I don't know, free assets, I suppose.
Borrow.
The sound clip of you going
amount.
Biju 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 biju. Where do we put that? You can put it in free assets if you're planning on giving it out to people. It won't get buried there, right?
Sure.
Yeah.
Yeah. Absolutely.
That's a good spot.
Yeah. Yeah, I like the animals in MZ. It's really cool. The pig is my favorite, obviously. So now you say, yeah, I want to borrow money. You put in an amount. And then what it'll do is it's going to control a variable. And we're going to add to what you owe based on that variable. So it's going to store the amount you put in a variable. And then it's going to add that to the variable that you already owe. And then it's going to change your gold. And you will get however much you said. We're going to use that variable. So borrow amount will be given to the player. But that amount is just going to increase over time. Every second is like a day in the game. So every 30 seconds is like a month goes by. And it'll tell you, now you owe this much, now you owe that much, etc., if I did it right. But we should also have, if you say no, then he'll say, do you want to pay back your money? Do you want to repay some money on your existing loan? You know what I find so surprising? How the public education system in the United States doesn't really talk about money or banking or accounting or running your household or like taking care of bills. And
some schools
like,
do.
Well, I know they do, some do, but like it should be like a mandatory thing, like your English class, your math class. You should be mandatory. This information should be in all schools.
When I went to high school, it was called home ec class, and we had to learn how to balance a checkbook. In history, we learned the stock exchange, the stock market. We had to do like fake stocks. We also had to run our own business and do marketing. We learned how to cook stuff, how to clean dishes, how to sew, how to like...
That's awesome.
All kinds of stuff.
Yeah, so you went to a good school. I did not. My class had like 95 graduating members. Another $5 super chat from Corey Davis saying, Drift, you got to remember that the banks cheat. Well, of course they cheat, but I'm going to put down, I'm just going to put in the basic thing that they say that this is how it works. And this is how it works for the most part, but they do cheat, sure. A lot of them, that's why you have like giant class action lawsuits against a lot of banks. Because they screw people. But here's a basic how interest happens. Let's see if I've made this system right. And let's talk to our doggy dog. We got to talk to our dog. So here's our beautiful map. And we talk to the guy. He goes, care to borrow some money? If you say, yeah, oh, I didn't actually do the payback part. Shoot. If you do want to pay back money, you do another choice, yes or no. If you say yes, then what we can do is input a number. And what we'll do is, the number that we put back is, we can use the same variable for borrow amount here. We'll use input amount. Input amount. Because we can use this. We'll say 5 digits. Actually, you probably want to put 6 digits for this one, because payback, you may be paying back more than you borrow. Another $5 super chat from Corey Davis saying, I learned in school how much of a piece of I am, so we don't learn much in school.
Oh, that stinks.
Well, that's some negativity. I'm sorry about that, Corey.
Some schools are terrible.
My school was my high school was awful. My junior college experience was much better. But yeah, man.
I went to a country school that was really good, but my dad went to a school in the Bronx that was... here's a story about my dad. My dad was a big troublemaker in the Bronx, and he went to 8 different schools.
Damn.
And after all the schools that he could possibly get to had kicked him out or suspended him, my grandmother had to insist that the state was... required to give him an education whether or not he was a hoodlum, and they just gave him a diploma in 10th grade and said, get out of here. He graduated on paper, but he never went to 11th or 12th grade. He was a smart guy too.
Yeah.
He was a very smart guy, but he was also a troublemaker.
So here's what we have to do. When you go back to pay your loan back, some things need to happen in the game to make this work. I'm also trying to teach the engine while I'm doing this. So when you do a system like this, you need to store the amount of gold you have in a variable. So what we're going to do is do a control variable, and we're going to make another set of 20 variables. In fact, let me just do 100 variables. I don't know why I haven't done that already. So here we're going to put in player's gold. So we're going to track how much gold the player has. So we're going to set this to the game data of the party. Nope. Other gold.
Yeah,
it's under other.
I agree with Life is Cancer. He says something about how like what we could be taught in so many fewer years what kids are put through now.
Yeah.
Efficiently. They did a study on teaching kids math, and some of the kids weren't taught math until 7th grade, and some were taught the same that they're normally taught. And the kids that weren't taught math until 7th grade did better than the kids that were taught from kindergarten up.
So what I'm doing now is I did a control variables, and I set the amount of gold the player has into a variable. Now I'm going to do a conditional branch that checks to see if the amount of gold that they have is more than the amount that they input they say that they're going to repay. And we're going to do an else branch here, because if it is not, then we need to tell them you don't actually have that much money. So if they don't have more money than they say they're going to pay back, which you can get around this in real life too by paying off a credit card with another credit card, but that's not always a good idea. It's an emergency case, the situation specialty thing that you can do, but it's very tricky. Anyway, we're going to pretend that doesn't exist here. If what we're doing is the same thing, blah, 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 I don't need to re-explain. We need to say you don't have that much money if they're trying to pay back money they don't have. So simple text. In fact, I should just copy paste this to save myself some time. On the else handler, it's going to say, he's going to say, rough. You don't have that much money. You don't have that much money. Just simple enough. You don't have that much money. And then that's it. Nothing happens. But if they do have the gold to pay back the amount that they input, they say that they're going to pay back, we're going to do some more control variables. What we're going to do is take the amount that they owe and subtract with the input amount that they used. Right? So this is what they owe, and now they're going to reduce the amount that they owe by the amount that they put in, which we check to see that they actually have that amount. But now what we need to do is actually take the gold. So we're going to decrease their gold by the amount that they input. So now we have a way to borrow money and a way to pay back money. We also have a parallel process that ticks every frame and keeps track of interest that will accrue. So keep in mind, in RPG Maker, if you open your menu, all of your parallel event processes stop. So interest does not accrue while you're either in a battle or inside your menu. But but when text is up, it still does. Like a show text won't stop it from happening. If you're walking on the map, it won't stop it from happening, etc. So let's see if, there's probably bugs. Maybe there's bugs, but maybe I did it right. So here we go. Care to borrow some money? Let's say no. Then care to repay some money and use exchange? Then no. Okay. Care to borrow some money? Let's say yes. Let's borrow 10,000. Okay. So if we look, we have 10,000 silvers, right? But if we wait 30 seconds, remember every second in this game is going to count as a day. So in 30 seconds, we should get a text pop-up that says you now owe some whatever amount. The amount you owe plus 20% interest. Let's see if that pops up in 30 seconds. You now owe the Drift Bank 12,500 silvers, but I only borrowed 10,000. Oh, I forgot to. Oh shit! I knew I forgot something.
That number just kept climbing. That seemed like a real bank to me. I think you did it right.
I know. But no, I didn't. I forgot to change the variable of the timer. The Drift Bank minute. We'll change the name of this. Drift Bank interest. That's accruing the interest. So this could be a switch, like I said, but whatever. So we'll set that back to 0. And now once it does this and shows the text, it'll go back to 0, which means this will keep happening. In fact, I'm going to make it even quicker. Let's make it 15 seconds. Every 15 seconds, it's going to accrue that interest because for purpose of demonstration. Highly accurate, says Anthony Brown. You owe 12,000. You owe 15,000. You owe 17,000.
Very accurate.
Right. Let's borrow 10K. All right, we got our 10K. You can see we have it down here, 10,000 silvers. It's paused while we're in the menu or if we're opening text. Or when we open text, it keeps going. If we're in a battle or opening the menu, it pauses. So we walk around. You now owe 12,500. What? So care to borrow? Let's say no. You want to repay some money on your existing loan? Let's say yeah. Let's try to pay back 910,000. Rough, you don't have that much money. Okay, you want to borrow some? No. Do you want to pay it back? Yes. Let's pay back the 10,000 that we borrowed. You now owe them 5,625. How did that happen? Because interest accrued while we were in the text. So while we were trying to pay back our loan, interest still accrued. So we have no money and we owe the bank $5,600.
Awesome.
So that's how interest works. Of course, want to borrow money? Yeah, we got to pay back this loan. Let's borrow $30,000. Okay, we owe them $37,000. Okay, do you want to borrow money? No. Do you want to pay back on your existing loan? Yes. Let's pay back the $30,000. What do I owe? Hold on, it'll tell me in a second. I have no money, but yet I owe the bank.
Oh, is it a pop-up?
Yeah, I owe the bank $8,788.
Yeah, welcome to real life.
But
guys.
But did you notice what happened when I borrowed the $30,000? I paid it back so fast that I didn't get charged interest on it. That's how you have to treat a credit card. You have to pay it back before that period ticks over so that you don't owe more money on your.
Yes, but
you
then
don't pay
you
interest.
also don't build credit that way.
Well, sometimes you do.
You have to pay interest to build credit.
Not necessarily.
I'm pretty sure. That's
No. You don't have to pay interest you don't have to pay interest to build your credit, but if you pay it off super fast, it may not have been, because they only check that the payments go through periodically. So if you pay it off in like one day, there's a chance that accrued no credit.
I'm pretty sure you can only pay it, like you can borrow 500, but if you pay off the 500 before the end of the month, before you get charged any interest on it, then you don't get any credit for it.
No,
but if
you do.
Pay off the minimum amount, say the minimum amount is $50, and you technically paid on time and you still owe $450 the next month, then you get credit for it.
Right, and a lot of banks are different. They're all different. So they'll have a.
See, Vino concurs.
Right.
You have
Correct.
to pay
if
the
you don't
interest to
pay
get
interest,
credit.
your credit builds absurdly slow. Like, that's what I was trying to get at. Like, it does, but it's not the same as if you're paying, like, your minimum payment. So it's not accruing because they'll make a deal with you. They're saying, okay, you borrowed $10,000, you owe us $10,000. If you just pay us $200 a month, then you'll just owe us that $2,000, and it takes off a little bit each time. But you're paying a little bit of interest on the amount you're paying. So they're making an interest payment on the amount of money you owe that you accrued through the interest of the loan. Do you understand how it's compounding?
You're essentially paying for points on your credit report.
You are. You're actually buying credit at that point.
You're buying credit.
Right. So if you use a credit card because you need that money up front and you pay it off quick, then you had access to money that you didn't have before, and that could be a huge benefit, and that's where you would use a credit card. But you want to pay it off before you actually accrue interest on that. And that will barely raise your credit score a little bit, but it gives you access to money that you otherwise did not have. So are credit cards good? Yes. Are credit cards bad and predatory? Absolutely they are. But it's like a necessary evil for a lot of things. But that's how it works for that. You just keep owing more and more if you're not paying on it, and that's. It doesn't just go away. In fact, they will start taking things. They'll take your house. They'll put you in jail eventually. Life is Cancer says that's not how that works. I don't know exactly which we're talking about here. If your debt is 8K and you borrow 10K to pay that 8K, you have 2K left and your debt is still 10K. So it's actually still 8K. I don't know what you're talking about, Life is Cancer. Vino says T is correct, but your credit goes up a tiny bit amount because you have the open account in good standing. That's what I'm talking about. If you have enough accounts open, I said this earlier, because I have so many different accounts and the age of those accounts, and they've never overdrafted and they've never gone down, it builds up. Yep. And that's that. FICO score is one credit score, but there's also the Equifax one. There's I think 3, or is there just 2, like main credit scores that they look at. I think my FICO is higher, slightly. Credit cards are cans of gasoline. They are both absurdly useful and absurdly dangerous. So here, if we just, months and months and years go by, our interest, what we owe the bank, goes up more and more. And eventually, your $10,000 loan turns into them taking your whatever $50,000, $100,000 house, because it's just going to keep racking up. Name Unavailable said something very interesting here. He says, credit cards are not useful in nature. They are just useful as a tool to navigate the system that you cannot isolate yourself from. Yeah, I mean, that's TransUnion. That's right, Anthony Browning. Anyway, I think we'll end the stream now. This isn't what I planned on doing, to be honest with you. However, it was an interesting conversation. I had a lot of fun talking about it. I feel like there needs to be more education in the United States of America. I don't know around the world their education systems, but I feel like we need to put more priority on teaching young people how to manage money, how to spend their money, how to transfer their money from one account to another. Of course, we're living in an age where there are more and more options than there were before. So it's getting easier to do certain things because we have more apps that do. You could use PayPal and Venmo and what's another one called Coffee or something. I don't have a Coffee account, which is strange because I love coffee. Oh, Galactic God, you just got here. Yeah, we're going to be into the stream right now. Love you guys very much. Drifty has convinced me to open up 138 extra credit cards. No, that's not what this was about. Please don't do that, Vino. Anyway. Get on Vino's level. I should probably turn off this system now because I don't want it popping up constantly. So I'm going to just set this to none and it'll disappear as if nothing ever happened. I'll keep it in just in case we want to elaborate more on it. This was a very rough, on-the-fly system to demonstrate simple interest, accruing interest on a loan. It's actually a lot more complicated than that, and how it accrues credit is also another complicated matter. But I'm going to leave you off with a good idea here. Say you have an account and say you have, I don't know, let's just say $10,000, and you want to buy something with that $10,000, but it's in a bank account that the other person doesn't have. So you guys have separate banks. This is a very common thing, right? But your local wire limit, if you're not doing it in the branch, will only limit you to wiring 5,000. So, which is variable number. Some allow more, some allow less. But you can wire money up to any amount that you have. I think it's 250,000 or $1 million or 1.25 million for some things. If you go into the branch and you wire it there. But say you wanted to buy something for $10,000 from a private seller or something, and you wanted to pay them $10K, but you would have to go to a branch that you have your money in. So you would open up an account with a bank at another branch that the other person has, and you can write yourself a check. If you have a debit account or a checking account, which if you open up an account, you're basically going to get a checking account from a bank. So you get a debit card and a checking account. And probably they're usually bundled with a saving account too. A lot of them are. So how you would go about doing that is you can get a cashier's check and make a cashier's check out to the person that you want to give the money to, because you can't just say, hey, I have the money in the bank and I'm going to have it all available, because there's little stipulations on how you can spend it. You can't just go to the ATM and pull out 10 grand. It won't work that way. Each bank ATM with cash withdrawal is a certain amount, and most transactions are not in cash when you start getting into higher numbers. So you're going to use cashier's checks for that. You'll write yourself a personal check from one of your banks and deposit it into your new account into the bank that the person also has, and you guys can be at that branch. And then, of course, you would have to do that and give it 3 days, 2 or 3 business days for a check to clear. So you would have to do this prior to doing the deal. So you open up an account with the bank that the person has, if you don't already have one. And you don't actually have to do that. You could go to your branch, but say your branch is far away and you can't make it. You can just write yourself a personal check and put it in to the other bank's account, the new one you put. Let that clear 2 or 3 days, and then you'll have that money available. Then at that very bank where you're meeting the person, you can get a cashier's check made out, and then they take the money out. It's usually like a $5 fee. You can wire up to $5,000, and there's certain amounts, or each bank is different as well, and you can do that almost anywhere. So if it's under 5,000, you can do the wire method. But if it's over 5,000, you might want to do write yourself a personal check, transfer funds to that bank, let that clear, and then do a cashier's check from that bank. Or if you can go to the first branch, you don't have to do personal check and transfer it. You go to your other branch. So there's multiple ways that you can use your money, but they don't teach this in school. At least unless you go to like a JC or you go to a college. And well, I don't know. I haven't gone to a public school in a long time, but at least when I was going, they didn't teach this shit, and I think, and I don't know if any of the kids here that have that available to them, that they didn't go through classes that taught them that. This stuff should be basic education that like junior high, 8th grade, 9th grade people should know about and know how to use money, know how to transfer funds, the difference between debit accounts and checking accounts, the difference of all that. And I think there's a big market out there for this type of education. As much as the capitalist America doesn't want, here's the thing, I think that people up high want people smart enough to pay bills but not understand how everything works, so they can't actually do stuff with their money. I'm convinced I have some tin hats going on here, but I think it's probably moving in a good direction if we can get more courses in education as far as like teaching people how to access their money. And yeah, I'm kind of spinning my wheels now, but I think we'll end the stream. What I'm trying to get to, if you want to sum up this whole stream, learn about your money and learn about how interest works, learn difference between credit and debit, and learn how wire transfers work, especially internationally. Understand the fees, understand what overdrafting is, understand this is stuff that's going to help you in your life whether you realize it or not. You will at some point have to know these things, and it's like learning how to it's like learning how to count your money. Even learning basic math, it should be basic accounting. Maybe in the future we'll have stuff like that. Drift Bank is a great resource for everyone. Yes, 25% interest. Take care, Polka Latte. See you, Skepsis D. Koopa Tepa, thanks for tuning in. Now it's 337. Thank you for being here. Vino, always a pleasure, my dude. Love you. Thank you so much. DVD, I see there. Galactic Glad. Sorry you tuned in at the end, but better late than never. Vino says, is overdraft when you drink too much draft beer? It's exactly right. See? Big thonk. Big thonk. Another $5 super chat from Corey Davis saying, public schooling is not to teach your kids, but to control them. I charge for finance classes and how to become rich. Hey, that's very, very a popular thing. I see ads on that all the time. You know, a lot of those things to me feel like, oh, that's a scam. But really, I think we've been conditioned in a certain way to believe that, you know? Know how to use your money. Know what to do with it. Know the proper steps, because otherwise you're going to be so intimidated. Even if you get money, you're not going to understand how to use it, and you're going to end up just losing it to a bank. Polka Latte, thank you so much. Skepsis D, DVD, Corey Davis, love you, dude. Thank you so much for tuning in and dropping some money on us. We appreciate everything you do for us. We really do. Name unavailable. Thank you so much for tuning in. Eleanor the Dark. Life is Cancer, Anthony Browning, The Real Tron, Kupo Tepo, Now it's 337, DVD, Skepsis D, of course my lovely wife T. It also rhymes, so I just had it. Human Being, appreciate you. Brian Perez, thank you so much, Brian Perez. Who else was here? Ambrose Vlogs, thank you so much, Ambrose. Oh yeah, I wanted to ask, are you still here, Ambrose? When are you streaming? Are you streaming, or are you just gonna upload a video? If it's a video, that's cool. I'll just check your channel. In fact, I've had it up this whole time, bro. I know you only got 6 subs, but I don't know what you've been up to, really. I can see this. I saw your tweet. I retweeted it because you said you're going to play my game, and I'm looking forward to see it. Do you live stream it, or are you just going to do a video? Either way, I'm going to watch it, and thanks for playing my game. There's a little shout out. A little shout out to the dude. Mm-hmm. Electro Ninjas Labs, Zidane Deoni. Take care, dude. Who else? Anybody who I miss, and all of those of you who are just lurking, I appreciate it. Thank you for coming to the stream. You guys are awesome. Kiara, I see you there. Thanks for the information on 3D printing yesterday. T and I were looking at maybe some other options, and we're like, should we get back into it at some point? We do plan to. We were debating the idea of selling the 3D printer at once, but it was just a passing idea. Mm-hmm. And
we like it too much.
We like it too much. We're not going to sell our 3D printer, and you kind of stoked the fire of doing that. So thank you for the information. We appreciate your interactions, Kiara. Eleanor the Dark. I think I've said some repeats in here. That's okay, though. Love you guys very much. Nicholas Felsky. I think his message got retracted. He said one thing, and then it got taken down. So that's a lurker who's like, oh, I accidentally typed. I shouldn't have typed. I see you, Nicholas. I see you there, lurking. Thank you so much for lurking. And that's where it cuts off. All right, guys. Have a fantastic weekend. Oh, my God. It's Friday. It's freaking Friday. T.
Friday.
It's Friday.
It's Friday.
It's been a good day too. It's been a really good day. I think I'm gonna need a good sample here. Do you want to do a good sample, or should I do it? I could do it. Let me do it. Okay. Let me get a good sample here. What should we say? What should be the thing we say?
Oh my gosh, it's Friday.
Oh my gosh, it's Friday. Friday. Oh my gosh, it's Friday. There's a song, but it gets stuck in my head, and I can't remember the thing. It's Friday. Oh my gosh, it's Friday. It's Friday, yeah. Cool. Friday. Oh my gosh, it's Friday. There's Friday. Oh shoot, that's super loud. Did I turn that up somehow? Hold on, let me turn that down. That's like freaking loud, man. Friday. Oh my gosh, it's Friday. There's Friday. Oh my gosh, it's Friday. There's a song, but it gets stuck in my head, and I can't remember the thing.
39.5 weeks prego. Oh, I feel sorry for her. I remember what that was like.
Wait.
Tell him to give her the good drugs.
Congratulations, human. That's awesome, man. 40 weeks prego now.
That's awesome.
Any day. It could be any day now.
You gotta like advocate for her. Make sure she gets the good drugs.
Yeah.
Like epidural.
So T had...
I've had 4 kids without an epidural.
4 kids without an epidural. And then the 5th time around, she's like, look, I can't go through this again.
Yeah.
You're going to have to drug me up. And so she took the epidural, and...
Oh, it's so wonderful.
It's wonderful.
The anesthesiologist kept walking into the room, and I'm like, I love you. I bet all the girls tell you that, don't they? I seriously love you. Friday. So good.
Friday. That's a terrible sample. We got to change it now. We got some new news. That's so awesome. Congratulations to Human Being and Mrs. Human Being on the little babbers. Do we know if it's a boy or a girl, or do you guys wait to be surprised? It's so cool. Congratulations, you guys.
Yeah. Do you know the
that's so awesome. I'm gonna do a song for you guys. Here we go. That's so awesome. Congratulations to Human Being and Mrs. Human Being on the little babbers. Do we know if it's a boy? That's so awesome. Congratulations to Human Being and Mrs. Human Being on the little... Hold on. Here we go. Do it again. That's so awesome. Congratulations to Human Being and Mrs. Human Being on the little babbers. Do we know if it's a boy or a girl, or do you guys wait to be surprised? That's so awesome. It cut us off. Congratulations to Human Being and Mrs. Human Being on the little babber. That's so awesome. Congratulations to Human Being and Mrs. Human Being on the little babbers. Awesome. It's a female human being. Congratulations, you guys. Have a fantastic, wonderful weekend. Did you explode part of the planet for the gender reveal? I've seen some crazy videos, people burning down forests and stuff. Yeah, let's just keep the gender reveal things to a minimum. I think this was an appropriate gender reveal. It's like on a YouTube live stream. That's the gender reveal. That's a fantastic way to do it. No forests were burned in the process of that reveal. Her first Driftwood gaming episode. Congrats. That's so awesome. Bye, guys. We love you.